Peter criticism. Election day is the second turn or term, no, turn, second turn, not term. Very close, isn't it? Term. Well, I will vote for the second term. This turn, I'm not absolutely sure if how to say election day, because there are two turns. First turn, first date. It was tied. It was tied. So this second one, definitely will elect the left winger, because at least is what I think. Because I don't know. Who knows? At least in this very city, in this both very capitals. Maybe there's just one capital, this one, but Viña del Mar is only a huge city, and there left wing just won, so left is winning in the major cities. Let's check it out. What's happening to. I don't remember now. Let's read Pepe Escobar article. Yeah, Pepe Escobar published an article some time ago. Pepe Escobar Telegram. Oh, I never saw this. There's propaganda on Telegram. A very strange one, like beautiful portrait of a beautiful woman. I'm sure Pepe Escobar didn't post that. I have zero idea what the hell is that. Are they selling women? I want to buy one of those. I have no idea what's going on here. I want of those. I want the right one from the right. Look, that one. I want that baby. Anyway, I don't know. Where's? Let's just read Pepe Escobar posts. Oh, look, a cruise. I guess I will never be on those cruises, but I guess it's fine, because people over there, they are absolutely scared about walking on the street, Even here in Valparaiso, imagine those people in Brazil. They definitely will die. Anyway, reshared, reposted from Russell, Texas, Bentley. Let's check it out. What's going on? Scott Bennett is wearing a camouflage jacket. Russell and I interviewed him for Sputnik in the lobby of the hotel where Scott was staying when he came to Donetsk. I guess he's talking about Scott Ritter. Quotes: "It's possible Scott Bennett was murdered." Oh no, it's quite possibly for telling the truth about the conflict in Ukraine. I remember this guy. It was a comrade. It was a colleague of the analysts. I never read him actually. So very hard life, isn't it? To see your friends dying. I'm kind of a coward. I prefer to die. Anyway, it's possible Scott Bennett was murdered, quite possibly for telling the truth about the conflict in Ukraine. No, definitely, I don't want to die. No. But I don't have friends neither, so I guess that's fair. I guess that best strategy is not having friends. Anyway, Scott was the author of our documentaries and one of our top military experts. He appeared regularly on Russia Today and Sputnik. A retired Pentagon military intelligence officer. He traveled to the Donbass and showed was what was really happening there in Donbass. Oh, this is very tricky, definitely. I know because I've been watching Russia Today for a long time. They are very emphatic on this stance about the Donbass. After Scott sent Congress his report on Kiev's crimes in the Volgorod region, he wrote to friends that he was not suicidal, just in case something happened to him. Yeah, definitely it's a good measure to do. Yeah, definitely. Oh, this always come back, you know, this on these environments, on these situations. If you say the truth, if you are a very complicated person, if you are a journalist, if you, I don't know, if you are polemic, you should have a jersey, a shirt, and a jersey and a jacket and so on, and a banner on your house. I'm not suicidal. If I die, it's not suicide. He never mentioned anywhere that he never mentioned anywhere that he was sick with anything at all. 2 weeks ago, he was still in great shape, and suddenly, out of the blue, he dies of cancer, which he never had, according to his many friends. According to his many different friends, Margarita Simonian wrote on her TG channel. Margarita Simonian, such a beautiful woman. But anyway, and that's it. He just died. I guess I have the article on the cradle. I guess this is it. The cradle. G20 knocks out G7 agendas. The G20 in Rio was all about the power of the global south, with poverty eradication and genuine economic progress triumphing the old G7 agendas of war, profit, and arm twisting. Pepe Escobar, November 22, 2 days ago, 2024. And we have a Xi Jinping and Lula photograph. And there's a lot of flags over there, Argentina and South Korea, Turkey, etc. The G20 summit in Rio earlier this week offered a quite intriguing spectacle of a deeply divided world, geopolitically and geoeconomically, trying to put a brave, quote, holiday in the sun face. Yeah, geoeconomy, that's the thing, you know. That's the best topic, the most important subject. Otherwise, we will not have Huawei cell phones. Here we go. There was plenty of fluff to amuse attentive audiences. French President Emmanuel Macron, surrounded by a beefy security detail, strolling on Copacabana Beach near midnight. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, barefoot in the sand, stunned by the lapping waves. The White House lodger, U.S. President Joe Biden, with his expiry date in less than 2 months, missing the G20 family pic because he was talking to a palm tree. Right before the summit, Biden posed on a soundstage in the rainforest, complete with 2 giant teleprompters, pledging to save the Amazon, just as his handlers in Washington let leak the authorization for Ukraine to attack targets inside the Russian Federation with ATACMS, a qualified preamble for a possible World War III, with Rio providing the ultimately gorgeous set at the very least. Tempers at the renovated Museum of Modern Art, the G20 venue, with the sugar loaf in the background, were bound to mellow out. This even allowed for a short tense handshake between Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, a true leader of the global South, and Argentina's President Javier Milei, a U.S. asset who hates Lula's guts. China steals the show. The populist Brazilian head of state, whose political capital transcends all barriers, was, of course, an impeccable master of ceremonies. But the real star of the show was Chinese President Xi Jinping, fresh from his previous triumph, when he was, for all practical purposes, coronated King of Peru during the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation APEC. Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Lima, APEC, complete with the inauguration of the 1.3 billion port of Shanghai in the new South American node of the Pacific Maritime Silk Road. The nodes, yeah. It's better nodes because poles is like a competition, I guess, yeah. And nodes is like intelligence, isn't it? It's like neurons, yeah, like nodes, neurons, Neuralink, something. But yeah, King of Peru, like Xi Jinping is the Inca god. Xi Jinping drinking Inca Cola. No. As China is all about global connectivity corridors, Shanghai became an instant new model ranging all across the global south. Beijing's prime role as an engine and cooperation propeller across Asia Pacific also applies to most of the G20 members. China is the largest trading partner of the 13 APEC economies and is responsible for 64.2% of Asia Pacific's economic growth. This prime role extrapolates to China's BRICS colleagues among the G20, as well as brand new BRICS partner nations such as Indonesia and Turkey. Compare that with the G7 NATO-10 contingent of G20, starting with the United States, whose main goal offering range from forever wars and color revolutions to weaponizing of news and culture, trade wars, a tsunami of sanctions, confiscation, theft of assets from Russia. And now that's Britain, isn't it, against Venezuela. So, predictably, there was some serious underlying tension permeating the G20, especially when it came to face off between the G7 and the Russia-China strategic partnership. Russian President Vladimir Putin didn't even bother to attend, sending his competent foreign minister Sergei Lavrov instead. As for Beijing, after 7 years of combined Trump-Biden trade and tech war, the Chinese economy continues to grow by 5.2% a year. Exports now account for only 16% of China's GDP, so the economic powerhouse is far less vulnerable to foreign trade machinations. And the U.S. share of that 16 16% of is now 15%. That is, trade with the US represents only 2.4% of Chinese GDP. That's unbelievable low. 2.4%. That's unbelievable. I never thought it was so low. Anyway, even under what can be described as NATO's 10 all-out tech sanctions, Chinese tech firms are growing at warp speed. As a result, all Western tech companies are in deep trouble. Massive retrenchment, factory downsizes, and shutdowns. Meanwhile, China's trade surplus with the rest of the world has expanded to a record 1 trillion US dollars. That's what horrified Western economists qualify as China on a collision course with some of the world's biggest yet dwindling economies. Subtitle: Efforts to Ukrainize the G20 agenda. The Brazilians had to dodge quite a few precision bullets to extract some success out of this G20 summit. U.S. think tank land on the eve of the summit went on all-out propaganda campaign accusing BRICS nations on doing nothing but posture and complain. The G20, on the contrary, will, quote, all major creditors on the table, might be able to redress financial grievances and development deficits. The Brazilians were clever enough to understand that an indebted NATO bloc exhibiting less than zero political leadership will do nothing under G20 framework to redress financial grievances, not to mention contribute to enfranchise global South nations. The only thing that will interest the hegemons financial elites out of a G20 meeting is to, quote, deepen partnerships, an euphemism for further co-option and vassalization on an eye on 2026 when the US will host the G20. China, just like Brazil, had other ideas. Entered the campaign to fight hunger and poverty. Officially launched in Rio, the Global Times had re-emphasized how China has lifted all 800 million people out of poverty and achieved the poverty reduction goals of the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development ahead of schedule. In his G20 speech, she called all members to, quote, make a fresh start from Rio by practicing inclusive globalization and true multilateralism. NATO stand as every grain of sand in the Sahel Desert knows, simply abhors multilateralism. The official theme in the G20 was building a just world and a sustainable planet. The hegemons, ruling classes, irrespective of who sits in the White House, are not interested in a just world, only in maintaining unilateral privilege. As for sustainable planet, it is code for what the Davos gang wants: the toxic imbrication of interests of the UN, the World Economic Forum, WEF, and NATO. Yeah, so that's what Emmanuel Macron was doing right here in Chile. And well, these Chilean people, they love the West, unfortunately. The G7 NATO stand did try by all means to hijack the agenda of the G20 as confirmed by diplomatic sources. Yet the Brazilians stood firm in the defense of global south, led multipolarity, negotiating a compromise agenda that, for all practical purposes, evaded getting deeper into the hegemon's latest forever wars, Ukraine and Gaza. And well, this is just, I know it's almost ending, but I have to descend with NATO stand as a whole the fact of supporting the Gaza genocide. The G20 85-point final declaration could at best offer a few consensual generalities, at least calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, which was promptly vetoed by the US at the UN Security Council immediately after the G20 summit's conclusion. That's it. I know it left some a little